Guys, in this video I want to talk about the importance of research and planning when it comes to the UI UX design process. Now, based on the messages and also the coaching which I'm doing with some students, I'm noticing that one of the biggest problems, and by the way, it's also one of the things which I faced myself when I first started out in my design career many years ago, is the fact that you should take a lot of emphasis on research and planning when you're first starting out any design project, really. So understanding the context in which you're operating and also understanding the business goals and the user problems, this is something which is really important. So basically, once you start any type of design project, you should understand what are the goals of the business, what are the goals of the users, and why you're doing what you're actually doing, even before you do any UI design or visual design whatsoever. And this is key because it's something which is going to enable you to create a solid UX structure. And once you have a solid UX structure and the problem is solved from a high level, then you can go on and work on the visuals, on the aesthetics and all of those things. But this should come as a second stage. The first stage is to have a contextual understanding of what you're trying to solve, and then actually solve the problem and go into branding, visual design, UI design, and all of that. And the reason being is that once you have a solid UX structure, everything pretty much works. And the visuals, although they're very important, especially nowadays, and it depends also on the market, because some markets, if you're launching, for example, a SaaS web app where you have competitors which have millions in funding, and maybe they are in a very specific tech space where they all have amazing visual design, branding, and you're trying to compete with a very poor visual design. Chances are the users are not going to respond well, and they're not going to have that impression of quality when it comes to your web app as they're going to have it with the other competitors. But basically, the point that I'm trying to make is that you should really focus on the research, on the planning, and making sure that you're actually solving a problem in the marketplace before you hop into the visual design. And visual design, it's I always say to my clients that visual design is almost like if you're, for example, going to a job interview, and you're an engineer. Let's say that you're dressing very poorly. That is poor visual design, but you can still get the job if you actually have if you're actually competent, you have the skills, the experience, qualifications to actually fulfill that job. But if you're actually dressed well, that's going to give you an edge. Now, the thing is that not every job title is the same, because maybe you can get away with it if you're an engineer, but if you're applying to be a TV show presenter, or maybe you're working in sales, chances are the way that you portray yourself and the way you dress and the way you speak, that's going to be much more important. So as you can see, the same is true also in when it comes to business and company brand identities. Some companies, they can get away with having more poor visual design and poor branding, and they can still make millions or even more than that. But in some fields, visual design and branding is so important. Let's take an example of that would be, for example, in fashion. Um, you cannot like that. Fashion is all about the visuals, the design, and making sure that you're up with the latest trends, and or actually you're creating new trends. So this conversation is all about you have to focus on the UX structure first. You have to understand the context in which you're operating, and be sure that you're actually solving the business goals, and understanding and solving the user problems. But you should also focus on visual design afterwards, and you should also, as a designer, you should realize which businesses and which projects might require more emphasis on visual design, and which other ones maybe won't need as much. And this is something that you're just going to learn over the years of doing this. And basically, there's no black and white formula for this. You really have to figure out the context first, and then use your best judgment to make that call, essentially. So I hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below, or leave me a DM on Instagram, and I would love to help you out. Again, if you like this video, feel free to like it. If you didn't like it, put a dislike button. And if you like more videos on UI UX design, you can check out my channel. You can subscribe. I'm posting regularly videos on these topics, and I myself am a UI UX designer working freelance as a freelancer and a consultant. At the moment, I'm 100% working remotely, and I've been doing this for almost 5 years, but I've been involved in this field for pretty much forever. And if you're interested in seeing more of these kind of videos, feel free to subscribe. And this is it for this one. I'll see you in the next one.